is up, everybody? It's your boy Flash, aka Malachi36 from ALWT Gaming, aka At Least We Try Gaming. I am here with some of the greatest people I know in the entire world. That is, it's the Nine Ball. How are you doing, man?
I'm good now. We're doing good.
Doing good now. You weren't doing good before?
I don't even know what I found. Yeah, I was okay. I was doing fine.
Heard that. Okay. And then I also want to bring on over here to my boy, Beardy Leardy. Mildewy Carrot. How you doing, man?
I'm beardtastic.
You're beardtastic. There we go. You love
I'm doing
to
good.
see it. You love to see it. Guys, this is episode 74 of our ALWT Things Gaming, which means it's episode 60, I believe, on Anchor and Spotify. Once again, I always have to say this. Thank you very much to anyone that's been tuning in, hanging out with us, vibing with us, just gaming with us, all of that. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Season 2 for ALWT Things Gaming is going to be starting in 2022. So we're going to be looking forward to that. We're going to end out the year successfully.
How many episodes is that, Malachi?
However long the year is. So however many Tuesdays is in a calendar year is pretty much how that would kind of go.
I don't know. Did Netflix approve it?
I mean, they did. You already know.
Nah, we're going through third party sites and all. We don't go with big corporation streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, GoFundMe. But anyway, yeah, I definitely want to throw out there in case anybody is curious. Again, you guys can follow us on social media platforms such as Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. Just type in ALWT Gaming. On YouTube, you might have to type in At Least We Try Gaming. You guys can also check out our stuff at www.alwtgaming.com, where all of our content is in one central hub, hanging out there, having a good time. And of course, you guys already know, if you guys like energy drinks with no sugar in it, caffeine but no sugar, you guys can go to reppsports.com, type in ALWT Gaming at checkout, get 15% off your water supplements, your workout powders, all of that good stuff. It's pretty good. I do like myself some Raise Energy. But for anyone that is tuning in for the first time, last week we were proceeding with talking about the nominees for VGAs, and we started with 5 and then we cut off, and we're going to do another 5 today, and then we're going to get inside of our little stories. All right. And then on the last week, right before VGAs, we're going to do 15, and pretty much that's going to be the entire ALWT Things Gaming on that Tuesday. So that's like 2 Tuesdays from now. So, and the category that we have right here is, what category am I in?
I don't know. There's 30 of them.
I think it's best audio.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3,
Votes casted. It's not telling me what the category is.
It should be best audio design, I believe.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
First 5 are game of the year, best game direction, best narrative.
There it
best
is.
art
Yeah,
direction, and
it's
best
there.
score and music.
Yeah, I see it. So yeah, best audio design is right here. So we have these particular selections. We have Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil, Returnal. So this one recognizes best in-game audio and sound design. So this is going to be a little different than the score. But I am curious on what your guys' thoughts are. I'm going to start with you, Mildewy Carrot. When you're looking at this list, these 5 that's right here, and I know that you haven't played them all. There's some of them that you own that you haven't touched yet. There's some of them that might be on your radar already. However, I want to pick your brain. What are you thinking about best audio design in this bunch?
So, I own Ratchet & Clank. I haven't played it yet. I know people are booing me for that already. I'm sorry. Hate me all you want. I want to give it to Resident Evil Village. The reason why I say that is because, yes, Forza Horizon 5 would have... if Forza Horizon 5, though, to be honest, audio, I'm probably being biased here, but I'm like, it's cars. You know, you get the sound of the engines revving, you get those little things and niches in there. I'm like, cool. To me, that feels kind of normal life stuff. With Resident Evil, they kind of have this. It was between Resident Evil and Returnal, but I just feel like Resident Evil probably have a bigger cinch on just that fine tuning of the in-game audio to really give you and sell you that feel of horror, of that atmospheric vibe with the sound to make you just like be walking around, be like, shit, I'm gonna get jumped, even though you're probably not gonna get jumped, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So just from past experience with Resident Evil games and all, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to them. Not because of my past experience. Like I said, I haven't played Returnal, but I've seen it. I've seen some gameplay of it. I just feel like Resident Evil just has a better grasp on that in-game mechanic of sound and designing and incorporating it into the game, into the story, into the feel, into, like I said, that atmosphere to give you that full effect of not just the visual, but that audio of making you go like, whoop.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Resident Evil Village.
It's the 9 ball. Are you in the village with Mildewy Carrot, or are you in the Returnal world? What's going on here? What's your thought?
Well, I'm in the village. I'm gonna actually pretty much say the same thing. I mean, I played Returnal. I love the sound design and stuff. It's beautiful, but with past experiences with Resident Evil, sound is critical. I mean, not only hearing that something coming up from like your left or right, but what it is. Moans, groans, something crawling across the wall. All that's important when dealing with those types of games. Sound is key, especially during horror games. And most Resident Evil have nailed it. Like, that's one of the biggest things they do. It's excellent sound design. So I believe Resident Evil Village was probably going to take this one.
Okay. I'm actually on the opposite side of the spectrum on that one. I think that it's going to be Ratchet and Clank. And
you just don't like horror games.
It's not just that. That is very true, but it's not just that. I think one of the reasons why is because out of all the reviews I've read and everything like that and been hearing, literally it comes down to that. I guess there's a club scene that's in Ratchet and Clank that's just like really awesome. Like that's just one of the capabilities. But again, like the sounds of the guns, the sounds of the actual AI, like the NPCs around you. Literally, like the whole environment itself. Kind of going back to what you were just mentioning there, Mildewy Carrot, for Forza Horizon. Like, yes, you have the cars revving up, but you also have the audience there. You do actually have the nature, the atmosphere that's there, because there's even sandstorms that will happen in Forza Horizon, and it definitely kind of comes through very creatively, I guess you could say. But going back to Ratchet and Clank, that does... I think that's going to be kind of developing character to be that type of game. Like, I really do think that those sounds that they have for the obviously unrealistic weapons that they do have, I think that's also going to kind of give an advantage. So I honestly think it could be either one. I think it could be Ratchet and Clank or friggin' Village. But I honestly think that when I look at two of them side by side, I kind of think that Ratchet and Clank will take it. And I keep going back to the whole 3D audio pulse headset. Like there's only one way to experience that game, and that's on the PlayStation 5 currently. So that's the reason why I'm saying that. The next one that we have up here is best performance. So we have 2 Deathloop submissions here. We have Erica Mori as Alex Chen from True Colors. We have Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo from Far Cry 6. We have Jason Kelly as Colt Vaughn. We have Maggie Robertson as Lady Demetrius from Demetrius? I don't know. I'll just say Demetrius from Resident Evil Village. And then we have Ozioma. I am sorry, Juliana Blake from Deathloop, but that's who it is. It's 2 of them. Jason Kelly and Ozzy are both from Deathloop. That's all I gotta say.
Ozioma.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm not going to fake
or
it.
Akaga.
But when we're looking at this list,
that's in advance.
yes. But when we're looking at this list, who is taking the cup here? I'm going to start with you, 9ball.
Lady Demetriou of Resident Evil Village. This is hands down probably the easiest one.
Really? You really think so?
When she showed up, you know how many memes and everybody was tweeting about that when it first showed up on the thing?
And here's the thing. This is not best character. This is best performance. Because again...
Best for her performance. She didn't even know she was in the horror thing when it first came out and stuff.
Yeah, well, and yeah, all right, so because again, if you're going for a performance, awesome. But I was about to say there's memes on there to where the obviously tall lady, they're like step on me, they're all that stuff and everything like that. But again, this is voice
What are
acting.
you
versus,
looking at, Malachi?
No, seriously, there's stuff like that pops up. But
I know.
but yeah, but it's
I'm
literally.
going.
Go ahead.
I mean, I understand. I mean, the only other person I may go with is Anton Costello, which is Giancarlo. I'm not even gonna say his name.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito.
Far Cry 6. But I'm gonna say probably 10 to 1 the Village on this one.
Okay.
I'm going straight Village on this one.
A quick little heads up in case anybody does watch football. Looks like the Titans had just released Adrian Peterson already. Literally he played like one maybe 2 games.
Well, I don't know why they picked him up.
I mean,
I don't know football. This is news to me.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's supposed to mean to me, but
yeah, I mean, he honestly
was not going to replace King Henry. King Henry was just trampling across the field, and I don't know why you pick up a guy that old though.
Well, no, I mean, even with him being that old, he still should be a solid running back. I'm very curious as to what fully had happened. 87 yards, 27 carries, and 1 touchdown. So, I don't know. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, going on over to you, Mildewy Carrot. What's up?
Well, for me, it was a choice between either Erica Mori or Maggie Robinson.
Okay.
So either Life is Strange True Colors or Resident Evil Village. Lady Demetrius definitely had phenomenal voice acting. But I just feel like Erica Mori has got a better sell on, because that's one of the things with Life is Strange type of games is that it is about the story. There's no action to the game. There's nothing, like, you have to sell it by the acting of the voice actors and by the script that is written for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the actors were, like I said, they have to then take that script and then sell it, like really sell it. So, like I said, Lady Demetrius had a very good voice acting script. But I feel like in terms of like the full amount of acting done and all, and performance wise, like in terms of full performance of the full game, Erica Mori is who my vote's going for.
I actually agree with Nine Ball's second choice. I think it's going to be Giancarlo Esposito.
Ooh, three-way split.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm kind of thinking it's that, for the simple fact of the matter. First and foremost, every single one of these voice actors deserve this. They really do. But
they're up here for a reason, guys.
Exactly.
They're nominated. Like, how many games have been released this year, and only these 5 are up here? Out of all these voice actors that are even in these games, like, come on, like, a round of applause for all of them and what they do to help bring us some good games. But in the end, there can only be one.
And I think that one is going to be Giancarlo for a couple reasons. One,
you're smoking stuff.
I think the reason why is because. One is that the character that Giancarlo was portraying, they made it after Giancarlo himself, pretty much. Like, the guy looks just like him. He's literally, like, everything about him, I feel like it's just a very natural, easy thing to do. I think that's the only reason why he would have the advantage here, is because of that. And then on top of that, they took the marketing even further, that when you got Far Cry 6, if you didn't have it beat by a certain time period, then Giancarlo himself would send you an email mocking you that you didn't beat the game. So it's like, but he's going as Anton Costello, but still he's like, oh, so it looks like I made another one give up or something like that. Like, he's literally mocking you, and so it's just like kind of playing into that whole character of what Giancarlo was portraying, which was Anton Costello. That's something that was in the game. He brought it from out of the game into real world to get you back into the game again. So I think if that is something that was news about alone, I think Giancarlo has that one in the bag.
No, he did a Hideo Kojima. If you play Metal Gear Solid games, they're known for fourth wall breaking.
The games for Impact. This is the next one. So for Games for Impact, for anyone that's curious of what exactly that means, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Here's what we have on the list. And usually, I've been noticing that there's a trend here where majority of the time when it's Games for Impact, it's usually like an indie game that I've been noticing. First game is Before Your Eyes. Second game, Boyfriend Dungeon. Third game, Chicory, A Colorful Tale. Fourth game, Life is Strange True Colors. And fifth game, No Longer Home. I'm going to start this one. And I honestly think, in my opinion, it's going to be Life is Strange True Colors. The more I'm hearing about it, if more people got their hands apparently on Chicory might end up winning it. This particular category. I don't know what Chicory is. This does not look like my type of cup of tea at all. However, seems to be a lot of people's game of the year.
What game is it?
Chicory.
Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking them up. I have no idea what these other games are.
Yeah, I've heard of Boyfriend Dungeon was actually on Game Pass. I think it still might be on PC, but I have yet to actually try it. I'm not even really, to be honest with you, it doesn't look like my cup of tea either. Like, none of these games besides True Colors really look like my cup of tea. But with that being said, I have heard nothing but blow up about Chicory lately on the on like the off, like not like on an IGN level or Game Informer level or anything like that. Like, it's mainly people that are streamers that's out there that likes video games and like trying new things. But I've been seeing Chicory pop up a lot lately, and a lot of people are just like, this is my game of the year. So.
Ooh.
Yeah,
well,
but Life
is it the most thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning though, or message? Like,
and that's part of the review that I've been hearing. That's part of the review that I've been hearing. But I don't know. Like, if I had to look at any of these, my first instinct is going to be because of what True Colors is insinuating, and like you're going off of the emotion directly. Like, you're going to be they're going to be exposing you to some stuff that you might not be thinking about. That's kind of my thought process when it comes to True Colors, because again, you're reading someone's energy. You're trying to solve that issue. The issue that you typically would do in your everyday life might not be the correct answer. So it's just like kind of putting yourself in another person's shoes, more or less inside True Colors, and that's why I think that True Colors is going to win it for me personally. But if Chicory was to be announced to be the winner of this category, I wouldn't be surprised. So, Mildew Care, what's your thoughts about that?
Huh.
So, looking at Chicory, so it's like, definitely an interesting concept of like a storybook world where you like, all the colors gone, like you have to like try and like recolor the world and all. And then, you definitely are right, like it looks like you got some interactions with characters and all in there, trying to like, bring things back.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to play the game. Like, I've never like.
Yeah.
And like I'm trying to just like get an idea, because like I said, I've never played it. I more or less known about the Life is Strange universe, and some of them and the messages in there. I don't know anything about Boyfriend Dungeon. I don't know about Before Your Eyes.
I was just looking at Boyfriend Dungeon
or No Longer Home.
Before Your Eyes, yeah.
Yeah, 3 of these 5 games I've heard about, and that's Chicory, Boyfriend Dungeon, and True Colors. The other 2, I have no idea what they are.
I don't know none of them. Except for what?
This is one category that we're not the most socially adept in, guys. Sorry. I go the life you build, circumstances beyond your control. Oh no.
Working on emotional first person.
Fears come with imagination.
You guys are sounding like you guys are studying for a test. And it's open book.
It pretty much is. Ooh, I mean, the concepts behind No Longer Home.
I know.
This feels like it fits.
This was a lot tougher than what it looks.
Yeah. Ooh. You know what?
What?
I was gonna go with Life is Strange, but I think I'm gonna go with No Longer Home.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. A little shake and bake action there. Can you tell us why?
Just because, like so I was reading Chicory. I mean, it's definitely very explorative. You're repainting the world and all. Before Your Eyes seemed very adventure based, kind of like just learning some stuff. I mean, it really didn't give me much in terms of reading, but in terms of just the concept of the category of games for impact of social meetings and all, I feel like No Longer Home has a very big impact, especially nowadays. Like, especially if we're looking at the current climate and all, because it's about them like letting go of the life that they built due to circumstances beyond their control, and learning to, immerse yourself in their lives and learn about their dreams and frustrations and fears and all, and like going back through everything, stuff that you built and all. And I feel like that has just got a really big impact with nowadays, especially with the COVID situations and all that have been going on for the bit. So that one kind of just stands out to me as one that people, I think, would really kind of connect with and connect to, even though that they, probably haven't played it a lot. I just feel like that one's kind of got a bit more promise to it. But like I said, I was gonna go Life is Strange, but because Life is Strange is pretty much about that narrative of, life, dealing with social interactions, dealing with people and all. But I somehow, for some reason, No Longer Home just sounds like it could have this category.
How about you there, Nine Balls? Did his speech move the needle for you at all, or is there another game you have on your sights?
Oh god, this one was tough. Like at first I was gonna go, what was that? Life is Strange. But once I started reading them, I'm gonna go with Before Your Eyes.
Another split decision.
Huh?
Another three-way.
Another three-way. Another split decision.
Yeah, it's just this one seems so interesting. They all seem interesting. Don't get me wrong. They all look quite interesting. I was reading Chicory, A Colorful Tale. I read some Boyfriend Dungeon. I don't think that's gonna win. I like Life is Strange, but against No Longer Home and Before Your Eyes, I don't know about that one. Sometimes the bigger ones, sometimes the smaller ones win because most times they will deal with problems that the creators have, and they can actually home in on it. And if you add a realistic tech thing to it, it brings it closer to home.
It's like an artist that raps about their hard times growing up, and they really did have hard times growing up.
And growing and stuff. You can see and you can see that you can see them, and you can see the person in it.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago called The Dragon something. I can't remember what it was called. Like the Dragons. Oh God. But it was about a kid that had cancer, and it was from a family whose kid actually died of cancer, and they made a video game about it. And it was so touching. And for me, I can see this one really winning. Don't get me wrong, the other ones are really good. It's just for me, this one looks more like the type that's gonna win it.
Okay, now that I'm watching, because I didn't watch this trailer for Before Your Eyes, I kind of just read a synopsis on it real quick.
Yeah, it is.
I'm thinking about changing to this one.
Yeah,
I will say, definitely No Longer Home is a very good, strong message, but Before Your Eyes.
Yeah, this looks like.
Now let me ask you this before we go into the next category. Then, after now being exposed to these games, aside from True Colors, do any of these games look like something that you guys would want to go ahead and play?
I am wish listing them right now.
Oh yeah,
he's just like, this is a good podcast. I got 4 new games.
Yeah, I'm putting on my wish list right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm actually gonna change it to the Before Your Eyes.
Now you guys are making me want to take a
look
look at all this now.
No, like I said, I didn't watch a trailer for it, but like I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing it because I'm like, yeah, like the No Longer Home has a very good message and all, but with what I watched on Before Your Eyes, it was like, holy crap, how did I miss this? Like I don't know what synopsis I'm reading, but damn, that was not in that trailer.
Yeah, you guys are making me. I mean, we're gonna go into the next category, but you guys are making me reconsider these indie titles for that one. If it's going to change you guys that perspective that much, because I know Mildewy Kara is a Life is Strange fan for sure, and I know that you appreciate Life is Strange there, Nine Ball. But just to hear both of you guys shift that quickly when just looking at this on paper, you're like, oh, Life is Strange, True Colors, obviously. But then you guys dug a little bit into it, and you got like, you know what? I have no idea. That's making me wonder. Best ongoing game. This one's a given, but I'll say it anyway. Apex Legends, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, and Call of Duty Warzone. Obviously, my personal one is Final Fantasy 14 online, but the given is Fortnite. Fortnite's going to be the one that's going to win that one.
I'm gonna stick with Final Fantasy 14.
I actually voted for Final Fantasy 14 myself.
Oh, you guys love me. You guys love me.
Stick with your guns on this one.
I know.
Come on.
Well,
14 is blown up.
But to the level,
got releases.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing Fortnite has done is release new battle passes and new skins, and maybe change the map once or twice.
Yeah.
That is all they've truly done, really, with the game. Apex Legends, I haven't touched that thing in forever. I don't know what they've done, but it seems like almost the same line as Fortnite. You know, that's about it. Genshin Impact, after playing it, it's very good single player. I really like it. Multiplayer, it's good. It's got really good points. We talked about this because we did it on our 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wouldn't rate it like up there as taking the thing. And Call of Duty Warzone, it's a mobile battle where you just got people in there just playing the game, shooting people up. Final Fantasy 14 Online, yes, it's an MMORPG, but it's got a good story. It's got replayability with other characters, different stuff. It's got new content constantly coming out so far still, so it's staying fresh. So I feel like Final Fantasy actually has this one currently.
If it actually wins, I'm buying you guys both a drink. Like it's on me. It's on me.
On this one.
I don't. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
I was like, no, Final Fantasy. The rest of these guys can take a hike.
Here's the thing, because I feel like the easy answer will be Fortnite and Call of Duty. I think Call of Duty is suffering so much from their lawsuits that's actually affecting the normal public now that doesn't pay attention to that stuff. So I think that's going to kind of hinder it from being taking that number one spot. Genshin Impact, as we played, I think it's a fantastic game, but I do think it does have its qualms, and I think that now at that point it's kind of a niche audience. Fortnite, though, yes, they're only updating skins and bringing in new characters and stuff, but at the same time, that's kind of like the thrill of it for whatever reason. It works for most people.
No one cares about the 12-year-olds in their mom's basement playing this game.
But
they can't vote; they're not legal age.
Yeah, but when I compare Fortnite to Final Fantasy 14, like there's just, as much as I love it to be Final Fantasy 14, there's a few things that's going against it, and one of the things is that not everyone likes the little turn-based style MMORPG, which this kind of is.
It's not really turn-based. I mean,
it's not, but it has cooldowns, and it's RT.
If you know how to play it right, you should be weaving your during your 2.5 second cooldown, you should be weaving your off GCD abilities with your GCDs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, pro player.
Part is
It's an alright pro player. It's like, you're not doing it right. You gotta do this and then weave this and then do this, chain that.
Global cooldowns is what that stands for, by the way.
I'm sorry, global cooldown. So we'll call them GCDs for short. It means global cooldown.
Throwing out all these key code words and all. It's like in-game dungeon, guys.
It's just that stuff, like little stuff like that, allows that difficulty curve. Not just watching, like, Fortnite has so many memes. Like, there's a meme right now where somebody, like, takes a shot at a person, and then the shoot just builds an entire tower. Mm-hmm. They're like, this is Fortnite. I feel like Fortnite, yeah, it's big, it's a massive game, but Final Fantasy 14 has basically hung in there long enough to where it has been growing and growing and growing. And pretty soon, it's looking to finally overtake probably World of Warcraft for the first, finally beginning the fall of World of Warcraft. And 14 will be there to basically pick up most of the people. I mean, there's like a whole thing about that now. They call them what they call now, WoW refugees.
WoWegies?
Yeah, they call it WoW refugees, like people that left WoW and now coming over to 14. I see a lot of my old, there's a lot of my old streamers. I even seen like Hazelnut, Belair, I think Devani, what was that guy's name? Stoops, I want to say. All like WoW, big WoW streamers, Asmongoth, of course, big WoW streamers, all going over to 14 now.
Yeah, and I will say now, to your guys' point, I think that earlier this year when that one streamer came on over to 14.
Yeah, ask McGaw.
Yeah, and like literally like 20, they skyrocketed in sales, which hasn't happened in a while for them. And also, this is the year where Endwalker's coming out. If it's not out already, I think it's out next month, right? Or it comes out next week, something like that. It's really soon. But like, so with that, with the expansion coming out and with Asmongold coming on over early this year, I can see that possibly taking it. But again, when you look at it in retrospect, like I wouldn't be surprised if Fortnite just remains on top. I want it to be Final Fantasy 14. But
I say, come with us.
Join us, brother.
You know what? I'm with you. I'm not going to fight. All right, you know what? I'm not.
Come on.
December 7th there,
You
Malachi.
really should. I mean, especially if you watch like the backstory to 14, it's so interesting. And I keep I'm probably gonna post it up and let y'all watch it. But it's on Nerd Slayer's channel, and he talks about, it was like a couple years ago. He talked about death and life of a game, and he goes over the entire history of Final Fantasy 14, how it started, what went wrong, how they completely dropped a meteor on the world and just restarted it. And even though they had problems, the guy was still taking responsibility. He was actually giving out free months. He was apologizing for all the mistakes, and they was able to come back from like the brink of death, because a lot of people didn't think they was going to make it. And now they're sitting basically ready to take over at this point.
I'm a product of one of the free month people.
I wasn't there.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be 14 this year. I hope to God Fortnite doesn't win.
Again, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm with you guys. I'd want it to be 14. The last category we have is Best Indie, and when I'm looking at this list, there's only one game that I can think that would dethrone what I'm going to pick. So on this one, we have 12 Minutes, Death's Door, Inscription, Ken and Bridge of Spirits, and Loop Hero. I think 12 Minutes was an interesting concept, and it was a game that you can beat within 5 to 8 hours. Death's Door has a strong possibility of winning it. But I'm giving it to Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Kenna was just such an impeccable game, especially for it to be their first game. Like, yeah, we had small qualms about it as far as like some of the storytelling for the main character and things like that. But ultimately, it was a gorgeous game, great combat. It took us for a surprise when it had almost a Souls-like element to it, to where it was harder than it looked. So that was interesting. The voice acting was great. The music was great. Literally everything about this game was very, it was awesome to me. So Ken and Bridge of Spirits is getting my vote for that one. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up losing, unfortunately, to Death's Door. So, Nightball, you.
Ooh, I'm also backing you, but it's going to be weird to you. Or the second game I'm going to go with. Only game I can see that has a chance of beating it is Inscription.
See, I don't know what that is, so yeah, talk to me.
Oh, it's like a mix of a dark card game where it's sort of like a roguelike card game. I don't know, sort of like Darkest Dungeon, like a dungeon crawler. And you build your deck and you like put cards out. You can sacrifice cards for more powerfuler cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sort of. But you also get certain cheats.
Okay.
You can like summon like a squirrel, and if you die, there's like a death card, and you get like a death card each time you die. You can sacrifice cards. It's a very interesting game. That's the only other game, but I feel like Ken is probably going to take this one.
I hope it does. I sure hope it does.
Got such a huge. It's going to take it on this one. I mean, my problem with Kenna was different. It's not that I hated the storyline. I wanted more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to expand. Like there were some elements that they had in there and they didn't explain it, and I want to know why. I want more, and that was my only thing with Kenna.
I'm kind of in that same boat too as well. Like, I mean, again, I thought the pacing of it was fine, but I do want them to. I wanted to give them more of what was going on in Kenna's backstory. Yeah. I got everyone else's backstory.
Yeah,
but I didn't get hers as much. And I'm assuming as one of the kind of advocates over here in our bottom corner right here, Mildew and Carrot. But I want to hear it from my man's mouth. What
I'm gonna have to go with Inscription. No, I'm kidding.
I knew it.
I was shocked. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This for a few minutes here.
Yeah, no, I knew it. The minute he looked at the camera, I saw deceit in the eyes. I was like, yeah,
okay, I was about to go get some.
Mildewy
I was about to get some popcorn. I was like, we got to sit here for a minute.
No, I definitely agree with the Inscription's definitely a heavy contender. I'm also going to say Loop Hero is a heavy contender. Loop Hero is a roguelike dungeon deck builder game. So in other words, like you're building like the loops and all that the heroes go through, and you're battling. It's turn-based style, looks like. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff on it, and it looks pretty fun, especially since, like I said, it's a deck building roguelike.
Oh my god! I'm adding so much stuff to my wish list.
I know, but it's those two games are definitely high contenders. But obviously, in my opinion, Kenna really takes this one for best indie. They just walked in the door and just said,
"Feels AAA."
Yeah, it does. They're just like, guys, like this is what I've got. Is this good enough? We're just like, you're shitting me, right? So yeah, Kenna Bridge of Spirits for me on this one. I definitely think Inscription and Loop Hero have high second, third place capabilities. Death's Door definitely seems fun, but it just doesn't have that good of like a unique indie feel to it. As now, I say unique indie feel, and they're like, "Well, Kenna's not indie." I'm like, they're not an indie feel because they went above that normal indie style that you see with people with pixels graphics or based like smooth polytext meshes and stuff like that. They went above and beyond what you see in indie games. That's why I think they're really going to take is because they put work into this game. Good story, good artwork, good cinematics, blew it out the door. But Inscription, it's got good artwork, but it has very interesting game mechanics and all. And then Loop Hero definitely also it's got the pixel style graphics, but the mechanics and the replayability of it are just phenomenal. Death's Door is definitely it sounds like a good game, in terms of like story based and then going through the world and interactions with it. So I definitely say it's probably got like fourth place locked down, and then 12 minutes sound like it was good, but it definitely has some quirks to it. So
that one was one I did try. I beat actually on Game Pass, and that one, the story was interesting, but at the end it just got really weird and uncomfortable. And I beat it, and I was not gonna ever play that again, and I would never recommend it to anybody. It was that weird of an ending, like literally that weird. The thing, though, I will say, is that. You guys know me. You guys know I love my Final Fantasies. I'm a variety gamer first and foremost. With that being said, I'm never really as much of a variety gamer I am. There's not like a whole lot of indie titles that speak to me. There just isn't. Kenna was one where I saw it and I was like, "What in the world is this game? I have to have it." And it's an indie game. They stepped that all the way up, and it was one of those highlights. And not only on that, but it was a highlight at a PlayStation showcase, which already has a top library of games. And it's just like it was a showcase even there on its first reveal for the PS5. It was just like, dang, like you guys really went above and beyond, didn't you? So, yeah, good job, Ember Labs. Got to give it to you again. Y'all did your homework. Y'all did your stuff. Before we jump on over to our second topic, which is the main story, talking about Chrono Cross, the remake. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek into our fantasy gaming league for anyone that is watching or following as we kind of go through this friendly rival. So again, it's a 100-point scale. 70 points is the threshold. Anything above 70 points gains you points. Anything that scores below 70 points loses you points. And this is all Metacritic stuff. And then we also have something called counter picks, to where you pick a game that's on somebody else's list. If it does poorly, then you get those points instead, while they lose the points, and then vice versa. If it does well, then they gain those points like normal, but you lose those points. So you have me representing ALWT Gaming. I have Deathloop, got me 18 points. Halo Infinite pending. Final Fantasy 16. It's not coming out. I'm not even going to say pending. Far Cry 6, 7 points. Solar Ash pending. Call of Duty Vanguard 2 points. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, that got me 1 point before and now it's gone. That point is gone. That's blasphemy.
They poured a snowstorm on you.
They did. Marvel,
They're like, you get 70 and that's it.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy got me 12 points, and my counter pick was God of War Ragnarok, which is on Ohio's list. We have It's the Nine Ball representing Zaka TV. Has, Resident Evil Village 14 points, Returnal 16 points, The Medium 5 points, Oddworld Soulstorm 0 points, The Guilty Gear Strive 16 points, Mario Golf Super Rush 1 point, Life is Strange True Colors 12 points, Forza Horizon 5 25 points. How is that possible?
It's just that
It's above
good.
70.
It just works.
Well, no, how do you get 25 though when it should be 70?
It just works.
Should be 22. Anyway, he has a counter pick of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and that was on Silence list. Carrot Patch Inc., who is currently in first place right now.
He's got first. What's on currently in first?
There's a possibility. You never know. Carrot Patch Inc. has Monster Hunter Rise 18 points, Kenna Bridge Experience 11 points, Shin Megami Tensei 5 16 points, Psychonauts 2 19 points, 12 Minutes 5 points, It Takes Two 19 points, Diablo Resurrected 10 points, Age of Empires 13 points. Every one of his games got double digits pretty much except for 12 Minutes, rightfully so. And then he has a counter pick of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which is pending to come out still on ALWT Live's list. On here, we have
I only had 6 minutes to pick that 12, and I choked.
We have Fantasy Football represented by Silent. He has Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, which is not coming out this year. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, 18 points. New Pokemon Snap, 10 points. Axiom Verge 2, 8 points. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, 7 points. Battlefield 2042, -2 points currently.
Down.
Scarlet Nexus, 10 points. Metroid Dread, 17 points. He picked Back for Blood, but he lost 6 points because that did get 6 points above for Ohio. And then we have, second to last, we have Illis Be Live, represented by Illis Be Live. Bravely Default 2, it got 8 points. Near Replicant Version 1.224744871139, 13 points. Little Nightmares 2, 13 points. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach pending. The Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes, 3 points. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, 11 points. Tales of Arise, 17 points. Neo, The World Ends With You, 12 points. He has a counter pick of Final Fantasy 16, which is on my list, and he is at 77 points right now. And then, lastly, but not leastly, we have Ohio, who has God of War
Ragnarok. He is last and least right now.
Yes, God of War Ragnarok, which is not coming out. Back for Blood, 6 points. Humankind, 10 points. Evil Genius 2, World Domination, 7 points. Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, -11 points. Biomutant, -3 points. He given up on life because he's not going ahead with the other 2 games. And Halo Infinite is his counter pick, which is on my list as well. And that's pending.
And it's coming out.
Yeah.
And that game is going to get some points.
Yeah.
So either he's going to be reset to 0 or below it.
He's going below it.
So that's
Place your bets now, folks.
That's currently our list right there for the Fantasy Gaming League. We are going to be streaming that as we repick our games for 2022 at the beginning of next year, so stay tuned for that. But onwards, the story number 2, which is a Chrono Cross remake. George Young from GameSpot says in his article, a remake of the classic PlayStation JRPG appears to be on its way. While it's reportedly being announced by Sony, it might be a multi-platform release rather than a PlayStation exclusive. Last month, VGC reported on claims that PlayStation was going to announce a remake of a quote-unquote big game around Christmas time. These claims were made by folk singer Ava, who told us the on their Irish radio station WLR-FM that she had recorded an Irish language theme game for the game. Now, Xbox era co-founder Nick Baker claims that the remake is actually Chrono Cross remastered. The title of the Chrono Cross was present on the NVIDIA leak back in September. His podcast, Baker says, quote, what else I was told because everyone's working under the assumption that it's a PlayStation exclusive. I've been told that it's not. The only word that was used was multi-plat, end quote. There's been some confusion since PlayStation would be announcing the game. People might assume that it would be exclusive title for the platform. Baker clarified that he assumes that the remaster will at least appear on PC, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch, as all his sources have mentioned multi-plat. He also isn't sure if the game will be supported on Xbox. While Sony hasn't announced any recent State of Play presentations, it's possible that this remaster could be revealed during the Game Awards in 2021 on December 9th, as it is poised to show 40 to 50 games. So, Chrono Cross, I'm going to let you take the limelight right there, Nineball. Talk to us.
Ooh,
What does this
God,
do for you?
it's been years since I played that game. I really got to warm back up and probably bust out my old PS1, which is right there. Plug it back up and play it again. It's a pretty good game. Like I know it had it would have like an auto attack system where you can go up and you can auto, and then you would go into an ability, and each element would change the field. And if you had 3 of the same element on the field, the entire field would turn into that, like water. I think it was like fire, water, and all that, and you get bonuses for that element.
Mm.
It's been forever since I played. I really need to replay it. It's a really good game, and I'm kind of happy to see it coming back out. As for multi-plat, I seriously doubt it's coming on Xbox. It'll probably launch, like they said, on that one. I know for certain PlayStation, probably PC, because I know PlayStation is really trying to get in the PC market too.
Yeah.
On PlayStation Studios. Nintendo, I can see because they're not really in a competition with Nintendo or anything. Like I said, they're always the kid in the corner. They just do their own thing.
So let me ask you this then: if it's a remaster, do you see it on Nintendo Switch? If it's a remake, do you still see it on Nintendo Switch?
If it's on a Switch, it will probably come out later.
As a remake or a remaster?
A remastered, they can launch it almost immediately. But if it's a remake, I would say it will be delayed for coming out on a system. I think they're going to make it first and foremost probably for PlayStation, because you want people to come over to PlayStation. And how they're going to be releasing games on how does Sony say it when they was going to, for PlayStation Studio, that it wasn't going to release probably day one for PC as the PlayStation, which it makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's going to make sense. You want
your exclusive.
Yeah, you want your thing on your system first, because that's where your main attention's drawn onto. But I feel like if they do, they probably release the PC version and the Switch version. Maybe for this one, if it's like I would say for a remaster, I would say probably the latest, probably about a 6-month difference. If it's a complete remake, probably about a year.
Okay. What about you there, Mildewy? What does this news do for you? And what are your thoughts? If it's a remaster, will it be on all those platforms that we mentioned before? Or if it's a remake, will it even see the light of day?
It's a good call. I mean, I would hope it's a remaster so we can play it, because I am kind of curious about it now that, Nineball's talked to us about it beforehand. So I'm kind of, curious to see like what it was about and all, and also like to hear him talk about that and how much they would have changed the game with the remaster. With the remake. My bad. Okay. Remake is remaking the game. Remastering it, if they do it, it would probably be on the systems that you originally had launched on only, depending on
it launched only on PlayStation on the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I would see it probably going back to there or staying on there if they did that. But because, PlayStation kind of has been, yes, they've got their only games, but I could see this one being one that could go PlayStation and PC, if anything. Just so they can definitely get those fan bases that are not on the PlayStation. But if they are the ones controlling, I don't see them sharing it too much.
I don't see them sharing it with the Xbox at all.
Not with Xbox or Nintendo. Like I said, the only ones I could see them sharing with, like I said, would be PC, via like say Steam, or if they finally get whatever PC system that they can get going for their own application to counteract the Game Pass. They probably do it that way.
I just want to
But
answer
if it's
what that is. I agree with you. I just want to answer what that is. That's it. Just tell me what
Should
it
be
is. In your mind.
PlayStation Now. If they could fix PlayStation Now, it'd be okay.
I'm sorry, was but yeah, if it's a remaster, it probably would. Now I'm thinking about. I don't. They probably would still keep it to themselves unless pressured otherwise. Because it originally came on their systems, they probably still keep it to themselves unless they saw advantage of pushing it out to other people. See, if they did anything, what they probably could do with, especially if it's just a remaster, is a hard launch, like first launch on PlayStations, and then maybe like a year or so later do a launch to Xbox and then Nintendo. I think they did that with. I want to say I could have sworn Horizon
God of War. Well, God of War is launching on PC here shortly.
Yeah, the beginning of next year. And
I know. I think Horizon
and Horizon Zero Dawn's already out for it.
Yeah,
well, it's already out for it, but Horizon had that same thing where it launched for PC only, or sorry, PlayStation only, and then like a year or so later, it came. They pushed it out to PC.
It was years before it hit.
But they still did it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that PlayStation will probably follow along. Either they keep it to themselves, or they do it for themselves for the first couple of rounds, depending on how much they're making. They see the coming to them, and then they'll push it out to other systems from there.
Right.
Mainly, possibly PC, pending. So, but yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what they'll do, if they will do it, and maybe check it out, because we hear Nineball talking about it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm a little split on this because I don't know what. I've never played Chrono Cross, so I can't really weigh in. But I have played, going back to one of my loves of video games, Final Fantasy VII. When I played Final Fantasy VII, obviously loved it. When they were announcing a remaster of Final Fantasy VII, like, is that really a big game? Like, I mean, obviously it's a big game, but is it really big news? Like, is it really shifting? Honestly, I say no. I think a lot of people were upset that it's not Final Fantasy Remake. Like, people were just, at the time, but this is before Remake was even announced. They were really hinting up, and it was like the biggest troll of all time, and it just disappointed so many fans, myself included, that we thought we were getting a remake, and then we just ended up getting a remaster. It's just the same exact game, to the point, to the T, and just the images look a little sharper, and that you have a mode that you can do speed combat with, or even put easy cheats in or something. It was literally that. This is kind of like, if it's a remaster, then I see it hitting all those platforms that was mentioned. I see it hitting Nintendo Switch and PC and PlayStation. But that's, again, me saying it's a 1-for-1. They're just bringing it up. Same exact game. Nothing's changed about it. Like, they don't even have voice acting in it. It's just one of those things where they brought it from PS1 era, brought it to the PS4, PS5 era, and now it just looks prettier. That I don't see any hypeness behind. That's me personally. And that's even me coming off of Final Fantasy VII Original to Final Fantasy VII Remastered. I liked it. I still got the remaster, but it wasn't anything like how I am for the remake, that I was super stoked. I'm like, oh my god, they're actually doing this. I can't believe they're doing it. I was not like that for the remaster for Final Fantasy VII. And I kind of feel like that, in that same vein, I feel like most fans would kind of be how I was for Final Fantasy VII Remaster with Chrono Cross Remaster. It's just like one of those, like, oh, this is awesome. Let me go ahead and play my nostalgia. Let me go and buy this game for my console or whatever. But this is not like game-changing news. But however, if it's a remake, Chrono Cross remake, that one might shift some heads and be like, oh my goodness, I didn't expect this happening. Like, this is awesome. I'm putting my pre-order in right now, but not only am I put my pre-order right now for myself, I'm putting it in for my grandma, I'm putting it in for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I think that yeah, I just threw a kin out there, but yeah, no, I think that that would be something that will be like, all right, this is only gonna be on PS5 and PC, or PS5, PS4, and then PC. Like, if it's a true remake, like how they did for Final Fantasy VII Remake, I don't see that coming to Switch at all. I don't see that coming to Xbox. Remaster, I think it will come to anything. I think it will come to your Android phone or your iPhone.
I feel like it's gonna be probably for this one more of a remastered and a remake.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, like, as I'm reading it and seeing the terms that they're using there, it does look like it's more of a remaster. And if that's the case,
I'm still interested. Would you be interested in still buying it if it was priced like about? Well, what would you say a good price for it would be?
Honestly, if it's a remaster and it's a PS1 game, $15. No more than 15, 20 max, but 20's pushing it. In my opinion, because this is a PS.
No, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because this is a PS1 game of all things, and if it's just a remaster, like you virtually changed nothing besides just make it look prettier and maybe run smoother, then yeah, $15. $14.99 for the retailer.
Save that penny.
Yep. Story number 3 we have, which is going right up Mildew's lane. Horizon Forbidden West is living and breathing, according to Haley Williams from GameSpot. She says Horizon Forbidden West developer Guerrilla Games is continuing to drop more about the new game and its world leading up to the game's release in February 2022. On a new blog post by Guerrilla developers, it focuses the time on the game's living world, including cultures, settlements, and the technology that brings it all to life. The post by Guerrilla's community lead Bo DeVeris quotes the game's lead living world designer Espen Son about how his team brings Horizon's world to life. Quote, "When you walk through Forbidden West, everything you should feel belongs there," Songs explains. Continuing, he says, "The living world at the Guerrilla Games works on aspects of the game that makes the world feel authentic and alive. The tribes, the settlements, the people and the people within them. There is intention behind everything we place within the world." End quote. End story. Mildewy Carrot, is this the dream you want? Is this the world we're living in? Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Oh, it sounds like they're definitely taking what they learned from the first one and going with it and going definitely probably more and above in the second one. Because in the first one you've got the 3 tribes, and I'm already forgetting them. But you've got Ayla's tribe, you've got I think Ozarums, and then I forgot the main group they're kind of fighting a little bit against, but then you get on your side. And then you got the shadow faction of that group that you originally ran into, were slavers. There was like a slaver nation originally before their king died. The fact that you're getting new cultures, new people in the new area is really good. I like that. You're not like, oh hey, it's Aloy's, second cousin, twice removed tribe. It's completely new people, and and then you got all of these new mechs, these new creatures to go with the environments that you're in now into this new world. You've got swimming aspects, you've got new glide, like it's just, the trailers were phenomenal when we saw them, and I really cannot wait to get a hold of this game and really explore this world, because with the amount that they had in just the first Horizon, you can easily get lost from the main story, no questions asked. And to be honest, I recommend people do it, because it kind of adds more to the world, to the lore and everything, and gets you interactions with more people. And because you've already got an interaction with one of the main story-based characters, it looks like inside the trailer when we saw, I'm wondering if you are going to get interactions with other characters that you've had interactions with already in the past, like if you can transfer that over, or if it's just going to be newer people and you only have the story-based ones that come through. And maybe they mention something about someone that you had interaction with in the past. So that's going to be very interesting to see what they do with all of this. But with what they were stating here, like I said, with, the new cultures, settlements, and technology, I'm definitely glad they've taken the time and made all that, because it really will give you that unique feel to Forbidden West, as we saw in the trailers, that it's different than Zero Dawn. So I am fully stoked for this game. As soon as I get launch date, approvals and see everything, time's going to be submitted for off, and I am going to disappear from the world into the world of Horizon. So leave a message after the beep, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
There you go. Nine Ball. I know that you have a huge backlog of games. Is Horizon one of the games that is currently on your backlog? Have you played it? Do you care about this?
I've played this one. I haven't beaten it. I've been working on it. I'm not going to tell you how long. It's like I started and I get sidetracked because I'm just that bad at doing that. I'm going into this one. I'm gonna say with cautious optimism.
Okay.
Let's just say the last few games that came up with high levels of hype just, yeah, it happened. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, we had a Cyberpunk happen, and apparently Battlefield, which I was kind of stoked about, is kind of burning. We're not gonna go into the Halo Infinite communication issues.
No, that one's kind of a little bit of a minor thing.
Yeah, that one's more minor. I'm not really worried about that one. It's bad, but
let's talk about New World.
Yeah, lately. I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I think the game's gonna do beautifully because PlayStation really needs that PlayStation 5 definitive title, the one that really shows what the PlayStation 5 is capable of, and all that. What they're saying with vibrant worlds and all that can now be done on those now. You have enough power to pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
With an SSD, which thank God you finally got it. I mean, you've been waiting for years for this to happen. You have virtually no load times, and you can have multiple worlds. I mean, some people didn't really like the medium, but the medium, if you ever played the medium, it has two worlds always interconnected throughout the whole game. So you can just flip between the two worlds, like the living and the dead world. And they have the two side by side. The other thing showing off what the SSD can do. I think that Horizon can do that and more. They definitely can do that more. And like you said, Ratchet and Clank, I haven't really played it, but from what you've told me, they was able to go through rifts into different worlds, virtually no load time. You can have big, vibrant worlds now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I feel like it should be more than just mentioning them. You should be able to somewhat. I'm not saying completely maybe interact with all of them, but maybe have some interactions with each one of the three tribes that you mentioned.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you will because you in Horizon you get interactions with the Osramans, you get interactions with the I've already forgotten their names and I'll probably remember it after the stream, and you get interactions with the other tribes. Like you get quests from people in each of the tribes. You get there's some side quests from different settlements of their groups. There's some story quests with each of them. So you interact with all three tribes, and then when you get into the Frozen Wilds with the Banur up there. I think I'm remembering that for Bunk here. They're the people of the Frozen North. There's full interactions with that tribe, and that with their own ideologies and individualities. You have to deal with that, their culture and all. That's how Aloy can even get to go where she needs to go for the end content of Frozen North. So they do a lot of exploration with each of the cultures. So there's a lot of lore there that you can go explore on. Like I said, there's a lot of side missions that you can get sidetracked on that help you kind of learn some of the mindsets or dealing with the people and all, and just different aspects of each of these cultures, and just not only the cultures but the world and the mechs in them. So if they take that same mentality that they used on Horizon for Zero Dawn, pull up to Forbidden West and really just use that PS5 and just make it grow, they can really pull this off. And the fact that they've delayed it already on means that they are definitely taking their time. So they've kind of seen the effects of these things, and they're saying we need a bit more time. And if they have to do another delay, that's fine by me. I'm okay with that. Like I said, I will wait until they give me a complete accuracy saying it is coming out now before I put my reservation in and get my times off, because I know that it's already scheduled for February of 2022. But I mean, we still got a couple months to where something could go up to where hey, we may need to do another pushback. I'm okay with that. But for right now, it feels like it's coming out, that they've got a good spot for it. I'm happy with that. And if they can put out another DLC or 2 DLCs like they did with Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm even all more for that. Because those DLCs, that DLC for Horizon was fantastic. Sorry,
I,
my love spilled
no,
out.
yeah. No, I am very like no. So here's the thing. I will say I don't. Obviously, this is a big flagship title for PlayStation, and I think that would be awesome for them to do what to really show like a game that they currently have that's truly open world and is Horizon. Because before that, like I don't think that PlayStation necessarily needs a game this immediate because they did have Ratchet and Clank of Returnal that both came out this year to really show off the SSDs and all that good stuff. And on top of that, Ratchet and Clank I think was the first like official PS5 only game to come out. Like I don't think Ratchet and Clank is on. I don't even think it's even on PC right now. I think it's just strictly PS5. But to the point that Nine Ball is making, like I think that again, when you say Horizon, like it's up there. Like go ahead and give it the full perks, give it the haptic feedback, give it the 3D audio, go ahead and give it the responsive triggers, all that good stuff. I really want to see what this has to offer. I'm a little scared in a good way of what this has to offer, just because Horizon Zero Dawn was already a pretty big world, and it was beautiful and it was interactive, and they're taking that elements of what they learned from that game and going even further. Like I'm like, dude, this game, you're gonna have to pinch yourself every time you get done playing it because you're just having to see if you're in reality or not. like I think it's gonna be one of those types of effects, and I'm here for the entire ride. Like I think this is gonna be awesome, and just hear how they're really taking this. They're like, I know you guys probably heard this a lot about Facebook and Meta and everything like this. In a gaming sense, this feels like they're going in a more positive direction of that. Like taking these AIs and really giving them those SAO moments to where these NPCs feel like realized characters. Like they really feel like they actually have personality and meaning and all that stuff. For not just the characters that you interact with that have to get the plot going, but also these random characters that might be able to die by a random minion or something. Like I think that they're putting a lot of love and care into that, which is really exciting, really awesome. Somebody had mentioned New World earlier, Crashing and Burning, and we are going to talk about New World Inside Story number 4, which is Into the Void and Into Frustration. So Mike Fahey from Kotaku has said this concerning the latest update for New World. Last week's Into the Void update from Amazon's MMO New World introduced a new weapon for players to wield, new enemies to conquer, and balance changes aimed at making life a little bit more enjoyable for explorers of Aeternum Island. Unfortunately, the update also includes an undocumented boost in power to elite endgame enemies, making them much harder to kill. Players are unhappy, and they're taking out their frustration with negative Steam reviews.
I want to see this.
Traditionally, when an MMO developer wants to give its player more of a challenge, it will introduce new areas with more difficult enemies to defeat. With last week's Into the Void update, for New World, Amazon Games took a decidedly different approach, massively buffing existing high-level enemies. Suddenly, level 60 players who had a handle on fighting late-game enemies are finding themselves struggling. Fights are taking longer than they did before. The developers have fundamentally changed an important part of the endgame experience, making matters worse. These late game balance changes were not explicitly advertised as part of the Into the Void update, leaving it to players to find out on their own by getting murdered by an AI enemies they could previously handle with relative ease. Plus, the difficulty changes were implemented without addressing an issue with the low drop rates in elite treasure chests, so players have to fight harder to get the same rewards they were fighting for pre-update. End story, end quote. So that's not exactly what you want to hear. Not exactly what you want to hear. Interesting choice. I think that MMORPGs, like being harder at the end game content, I don't think that's necessarily a problem. I do think that depending on how drastically harder they are, could be a problem. I think that not announcing it wasn't really a wise decision either, because then at that point it's just like
surprise mechanics.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
You
your
don't want to
tank
have
run
that in
up
an
the block and
MMORPG.
now your tank's getting one-shotted by the mechanic. I'll just put up my shield. Oh, he just got one-shotted.
Exactly. And then,
This happened the first day. Update goes through. Guys log in. Like, all right, bro, let me come take this dungeon. I know everything about it. We're going to do fine. We're going to get you this good gear. Walk in. Wipe.
exactly. Yeah.
Bro's like, what happened, man? No, man. Let me tell you. This was not here, man. This was not how it happened before, man. They did something.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, they did something.
And that's the thing. That's what they're saying right there, is that they're literally saying, like, you had to find out for yourself that a change was made. This wasn't a public announcement. This wasn't anything like that. You had to find out for yourself that a change was made. 9-ball.
Okay. So I know I'm gonna bring up WoW in this, but why not take a page out of WoW and just make a higher difficulty? Like WoW has LFR, you have normal, then you have a heroic raid, and then you go up to mythic.
14 has that.
Mythic.
Savage, extreme, all that.
Yeah. It was something called a mythic raid, and these things, unless you're on top of your mechanics, you will get one shot. Because I played mythic raids, and our leader was getting mad at us. I mean, as a healer, you gotta be like on your A game when you play these. You've got to be moving when they move and all that. Why not just tack on that difficulty? Why just put a surprise mechanic? And why not even mention it? Like, they could at least say, well, we buffed this, and this. I mean, you may be taking a character through that you've played through before to get certain items. I know in game, you usually at this point are going for mid-maxing. And the thing about it is, basically, you may be running through a dungeon for a particular item or particular sword, which you've ran through like maybe 10 times before. All of a sudden, you're running through using the same mechanics and getting blown up. You don't know. I mean, you check your gear, like, did somebody mess up? He gets blown up again. I mean, your healer don't know, wait a minute, I should use my big heal here, or I should use my big defensive here, which I've never had to use at this particular normal attack. Or they might even be, and this is important too, because even if you're maxing smaller creatures, most people will do, I see it on 14 now too, they'll do mass pulls. So what you'll do is have your tank pull 3, 4, 5 groups, bring them all back, and you'll usually have like somebody can do a ton of AoE damage. I know in WoW it was Unholy DKs, because them bars would just hit 30, 40k and 1.2 million damage. Because once you start pulling all those in, you'll start just bringing up all your zombies, Army of the Dead, Apocalypse, start spreading your diseases all over the place, and you just go off. I think on theirs, I want to say the Black Mages and Red Mages will just start, like, you just start seeing like flares and stuff all over the field on theirs for a ton of damage. And when they're probably pulling these, they was noticing they're probably just dying and their tanks is getting wiped. Yeah. And once your tank wipes that fast in that situation, it's a team wipe at this point.
Yeah.
It's over that fast. And they really need to define that. I don't know what's going on at Amazon. they should have really did some research.
I wouldn't even mind.
I'm going to see them on Death of a Game pretty soon here.
I wouldn't even mind if they like. I think that's fine with them increasing the difficulty if they reward you appropriately for that. Like, if they're not going to be looting, like, because that was one of the things that just stuck out to me, that they increase the difficulty for end game content, because it's not even talking about the progression portion. It's strictly just end game, and I think that's fine for a couple of reasons. One, it's not just going to be quote unquote easy, and you just get bored that much quicker with it. Like, now you have to work with it, be more cohesive with your teammates and everything like that, and it actually feels rewarding when you actually do beat it. So I think that's one thing. But if the loot has not changed and you're just working that much harder for it now, that's a problem. like you guys very intentionally and distinctly did not go ahead and tell the gaming community that you're increasing the difficulty of X, Y, and Z. And on top of that,
you gotta let them know that.
Yeah, like you have to let them know that, especially if you're not going to be giving them any extra loot, like no legendary items or anything like that. Yeah, no, go ahead.
And well, it's a problem too, because in like there is a meta actually in higher queues.
Most effective tactic
Even
available, by the way, in case anyone's curious when he says meta.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's like a most effective. Like you will have like certain tanks that do spectacular in certain situations. Now, if you up the difficulty, you may need a better tank that's better at dealing with a different type of damage.
Yeah.
And you may need a different healer that may have certain mechanics. I know for example, what am I playing? Scholar, we have like a lot of shield mechanics, which we're gonna negate a lot of damage. On WoW, for instance, we had a mechanic on our disc priest, which was called pain suppression. It was basically your big anti-tank buster item that you need to put on a tank if they're about to die. What it does is it reduces all damage by 40% for 8 seconds. And this is huge if they're about to get hit by a huge mechanic and they may not have the defensives to deal with it. If you don't know said mechanic's gonna hit because they buffed a normal move to tank buster status, yeah, he's gonna get wiped. I mean, I don't know. I still don't know why they didn't just put it in a note or at least make a higher difficulty for it.
Yeah.
And you get, like you said, better loot for it.
Yeah.
Not just, well, we're just gonna buff the enemies just to piss you off more.
Let's see what happens.
No, this will fix the end game. We're positive.
But before we go on over to the next story of the League of Legends doing well in showbiz, do you have any commentary on this, Mildewy Carrot?
This is why I don't play MMOs.
Oh, they're fun. They're incredibly fun.
I'm teasing. There are some that definitely sound fun. Like Final Fantasy sounds like a good time. I just don't want pay to plays. There are some other ones I did kind of touch here and there, but it's never been my big cup of tea. Just because I do like kind of like Malachi, I have a certain taste that I like. But I will definitely play if I got friends playing and all. If it's free to play. But it's definitely weird that they did just drop it on people's heads like that without any warning, or like creating like a secondary area to go to for this new zone or new DLC content. That they just like replace the old
just put it in the end game. Yeah. Nobody will notice.
Like,
here you go.
I'm like, it kind of sounds like. I mean, it feels like Fallout 76. That's just what the route they're going with there, especially with what I've been hearing about.
They're gonna be on Death of a Game with Nerd Slayer, so I'm expecting to see them next.
So I don't know what they're doing, but they definitely, I don't know who they hired, but yeah.
My dice set. That's probably how the balance thing works over there.
For story number 5, for story number 5, there's not really much of a commentary that we're going to have on this one. Just more or less that me and Mildewy Carrot, we are interested in checking this out. But I do want to hear Nine Ball's thought about the League of Legends doing well in showbiz. Zach Zwiezen from Kotaku had says in his article, the League of Legends TV show Arcane premiered earlier this month on Netflix to rave reviews and high viewing numbers, so it's not surprising that streamers have picked up the show for a second season, with the main cast returning. Yesterday, Netflix and Riot Game announced that the renewal during the 2-day Undercity Nights events. Riot released a short teaser for the new season, which doesn't provide too many details on what to expect on the next season of the animated series. Perhaps those out there who better understand the lore of the League of Legends can decipher some interesting tidbits. According to Deadline, Haley Steinfeld, Ella Purnell, and Katie Loing will reprise their roles from the first season of Arcane in the show's next season. Season 2 is currently in production and no release date was given. End story. Nine Ball, you finished Arcane. You're in there like swimwear, like long hair, like don't care. Let me ask you, if you had to put this skit on a scale of 1 to 10 and a quick review, what would you give it?
I would give it a 9.
Ooh.
I was pleasantly surprised on this one.
Tell me why. Yeah. Not fully. But
I
tell
was
me.
no. It's I actually love it. I mean, I'm still going through it right now. I'm ciphering it. I need to check out because you said about the second season. I know exactly what to check out. I have like a channel called Necrit. He generally does League of Legends lore. We knew it was going in this direction because, like I said, Necrit was doing it, and all of a sudden they Riot made a map of Runeterra and then started rewriting every character's story. They have like the all the places, you know, like Ionia, Noxus, Zon, Demacia, Piltover, Zon, like I said, Zon, Akathia,
Mm-hmm.
the Void. You have the Cursed Isles, and they've been really on the story lately. They've been releasing a lot of shorts, you know, Bancroft. Of course, you have the bands, you know, KDA, Pentakill,
Oh yeah,
but they have.
Pentakill's the newer. It was an old one, but it's a newer one that's starting to come out more now, right? Remember,
Um, they
because I
came
remember
out actually.
I remember they had Pentakill before KDA, but I didn't
Yeah,
hear much on them until after KDA came out, and then I think Pentakill started coming up really.
yeah. I love Pentakill actually. It's got pretty good singers in there.
Oh, I actually like the animation for it because it's the one with Timo in there.
Yeah,
They're rocking on
yeah.
Timo, just like guys, like and they're just ignoring him. It's freaking hilarious, but really good music too.
It has like the series has like enough. It has a lot of nostalgia. If you're a fan of League, I would really like to have like somebody that really doesn't know League of Legends to watch it too. I really want to see their opinion, but I know a lot. I love League of Legends. I still have I wouldn't say like it's my favorite, but it's like a special place in my heart. A lot of people I used to know played League of Legends with me, and I had like a lot of fun games on there. We did like some troll matches and stuff, but it's like a special place where League of Legends live. It has a lot of
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say real quick. Actually, to your point, as far as someone that doesn't know League of Legends, watch this. I obviously know League of Legends, like I played the
Yeah.
game and everything like that, but I don't really know any of the lores outside of Yasuo and Zed. So I guess I can be
Oh
coming from a place of that.
yeah, yeah. You're gonna see a lot of characters that you know, and you're gonna have a couple surprise characters. It has nostalgia, but it doesn't lean on it. Like I could have a person, even though they don't explain where every character comes from. I don't know what world they're coming, but some people that don't know it may not know these characters and know what world they come in, why they look like that, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it does enough to show the characters how they turn into what they turned it. Like I said, I thought Jinx was pretty well fleshed out. Like when they first introduced her in League of Legends, she was kind of like a Harley Quinn character,
Ooh,
kind of like the Harley Quinn. This one, it's a let's just say a lot darker of a character.
Hmm.
But it's a lot interesting. They do a lot more to build up her character, stuff like that. How she turned into and all that. They're gonna go into all that. They, like I said, they introduce a lot of characters, and it's gonna be a couple characters that a non-fan wouldn't know from League of Legends, but a person who is a fan of League of Legends will recognize said character. And certain things they may do during the thing, like seen that in the game. That's why such and such does that, or that's why such and such use that item or use that ability or whatever. Because you'll see it and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I recognize that from the game." But a person that doesn't know won't know where it came from. But it still is good enough to where they go, "Oh, that's cool and that's great." A lot of the world's fleshed out. I think the world was great. It's pretty well lived in. You can see like Piltover and how it looks and all that. I think I absolutely loved it. I might rewatch it, see if I missed anything, but and I'm also going to check out, like I said, some more Necrit because you generally, if you want to know lore and stuff on there, Necrit, I think it's Necrit, I believe, for his channel. He's heavy
okay.
into the League of Legends lore, like the story, because he basically went over Zed, and it expounds a lot more now into the Zed story as to why the problems between him and all the other people is there.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I now I mean obviously we're not going to talk about this right now because we're kind of getting to the press for time
Oh
portion.
shoot! Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
Rambled on.
I was about to say for here. You were fine. Everything you said was spot on. That's good. I'm talking about right here that there's also like League of Legends. Riot is starting to do something here because not only do they have the animated series, but they also have a fighting game that's coming out called Project L.
I've seen that on Maximum Dodge.
Yeah, and that one's been apparently that one's been looking absolutely amazing for some people. I saw very little of it, but it definitely seems to be interesting. And I haven't played fighting games that often recently, but something to kind of check out. But going back to the season, I know that me and Mildew Carrot, we have homework to do. We have some shows to watch and report back to our teacher, aka It's the Nine Ball, about what we have learned. But going on
the Zag.
There's a two-parter here on PlayStation updates. One thing I do want to throw out there, which is story number 7, which we're not going to get to today, but I do want to throw out there dreams of a new Final Fantasy IX remake, which is more like one little off. I just want to throw it out there. There's somebody that was doing a fan-made Final Fantasy IX trailer. It was like a minute long. And it looks pretty interesting. The game itself, the video itself is called Final Fantasy IX Memoria Project. So if you guys YouTube that, you guys can see the little minute trailer of what Final Fantasy IX will look like with today's graphics. So just a little tidbit right there for you guys to end off the show with. But back to story number 6. There's a two-parter here for PlayStation updates. Jason Gusso from Game Informer had quoted this inside the update. When PlayStation 5 was first revealed last year, the console design was polarizing. On one of the end of the spectrum, PlayStation fans were excited about the new futuristic, sleek look. In contrast, the other consumers were not impressed, namely in regards to the white faceplates. And I'm going to stop the story real fast. If you guys were watching me and Mildewy Carrot's reaction to that from last year, we were flipping out. We were absolutely flipping out. Nine Ball was part of that stream too as well, but he had to attend to family acquaintances at that time period. Continuing on with the story, one of the next gen console once the next gen console launched, third-party companies began producing different colored faceplates, with black being the most popular option on the market. Sony, for the most part, legally brought an end to those competitors, and now the entertainment conglomerate has been granted its own patent for official PlayStation 5 plates. According to GameSpot, the patent is listed as, quote, cover for the electronic device, end quote, and comes paired with a few mock-up sketches of the PlayStation 5. The text within the platform, the patent claim mentions a skin cover for a PlayStation 5 console and the ornamental design for a cover for an electronic device. Of course, this doesn't immediately equate to a future where Sony labeled faceplates might be sold at your local electronics establishments. For all we know, nothing will come of this, but it's nice. It's a nice image to, or it's nice to imagine a new look for the PS5. Only time will tell what this patent means for the console's aesthetic. So that's part 1 of this PlayStation updates. Part 2 is talking about the actual update. So Hiram Cryer from Games Radar, new PlayStation patent could speed up the switching between apps and games on the PS5. As first reported by OP Attack earlier today, a new patent relating to the PS5 UI was just filed by Sony. According to the original report, it seems as though Sony may be researching a feature that allows users to access other apps without even leaving the game that they're currently playing. Quote, the window can be pinned in the GUI and the user can automatically switch to another application, and unquote. Reads a section of the over at least a portion. No, reads a section of a patent application. Upon user requesting a menu, the menu is presented in a layer over at least a portion of the first layer of the content-based execution of the menu application, says the patent, further outlining the possible feature. End quote, end story. So these two updates about the panels, the faceplates of the PS5, and then also you possibly not even having to leave the game, and then increasing the speed between games and applications. What does this do for you guys? Is this interesting to you guys? Is this something that you're just like, oh, that's cool, but it is what it is? Like, what does this mean for you guys?
That's actually a pretty cool. I mean, I didn't think they was going too slow as is. It starts up a lot faster because I recently had to start up my PlayStation 4 to move it, so I had to turn it completely off. And I didn't realize how slow it went.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. I'm sitting there like...
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I mean,
You heard Jeopardy going off.
Cinco privilege, that's how I would put it. That's where we're at right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I mean, I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was pretty fast as is, but that's good though that it's working even faster. I guess they got more efficiency.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat too as well, because I thought it was going perfectly fast. Like games are loading up like that, and I'm not taking virtually no time to get from application to application. So, what about you, Mil? Do you have any insight on this?
I mean, not really. I mean, they're gonna kind of keep working. I mean, the aspect where they're kind of like they took out those faceplates. I mean, it kind of makes sense. They're kind of like, they're kind of playing a bit finicky with it. I know beforehand, like people used to have like, I think for like the Xbox and all, they used to have like all those skins that people could buy and put on there, which is fine and all. But I think replacing the actual plate itself is kind of a concern, I guess, because material composition, how it affects with the, intermeshes with the hardware. What did you do to it? Is it the same style? Does it fit right? That's an obvious concern, which, it makes sense why they would kind of go after saying stop. Maybe if they made like decal faces or something, that probably would have been better.
Find one for you. I have I just watched it the other day. It was like the whole thing of how the PlayStation was made. The guy that actually made the PlayStation showed the entire process. Making
I've seen that. Not seen it, but I've heard about it. Engines skin cover PS5 console. Yeah, the skin thing, like I said, would make more sense just because I've seen them do like with the 360 and Xbox stuff. So if people really want to kind of do their own designs, a skin thing would be better off. But I'd probably say leave it to PlayStation to do, or unless they're willing to release like a patent to people that they can purchase just that explains the materials that they should be using for it. Because like I said, it just comes down to just making sure that what you're putting on there doesn't negatively affect the system in terms of
my one question is, does it void the warranty too? Which
probably, well, technically, I guess not really.
If it was the faceplate thing, I would say like when they were removing stuff, it probably would do something like that because you're opening it up to remove the plating to put your own on.
Are you? I think it just slides off for the newer ones. I don't think it's anything that you have to technically like really open.
I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I was not interested in it. I just was like, I got it. It looks pretty. I'm gonna play it. And that's all I cared about. I'm more cared about. I'm more cared about the internal components of like, oh look, solid state. Finally, I can just load shit and run around and not have to worry about. Hold on, loading. No, I didn't have to worry about that.
I do miss the elevator scenes though for Mass Effect.
I mean, the conversations that you had in there, like in the sub conversations, especially Mass Effect 1, were hilarious depending upon who you had in your party. They were a riot. But I mean, I'd say definitely it's good that they're trying to give people something, because there are people who do like to decorate their systems. So as long as they're willing to try and work with the players and all, that's really all that really matters.
Agreed.
Work with them, try and give them something, but make it to where it works with the system. So, on that, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat too as well. I mean, again, the biggest news I took from this when I looked at it, I was because again, like I already my PlayStation 5 is standard white as it comes in, and my entertainment center is white, so I just want everything to look match anyway. So it's already matching. So why would I mess with that? If anything, I'm actually going to get skin covers for my Xbox Series X, so that way that can match my entertainment system. And then if I don't get a OLED Pro, the Switch OLED version, then I'm probably just going to try to see if I can get a skin for my Switch right now, and just if I really want everything to match.
So what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, is he's going as he wants it to look like an Iran car.
now,
if you know what I'm talking about, power to you.
Yeah, all day.
They're gone.
Bleach all day.
You didn't see my fingers there. Let me just put them up there. Hey, you just saw like two little things down here. It's kind of like the killer where they're like, "Hey, can you see me?"
But yeah, no, but at the end of the day, even if I didn't have like a white entertainment center or anything like that, I wouldn't like. I would rather feel more comfortable not having to take off any plates because at this point, like me not taking off the plates, I don't have to worry about it voiding the warranty because I'm not messing with it in that aspect. I'm just playing it as it is, as it was intended. Everything's good. Yeah, and I'm very curious to see if these other these other plates will be part of this particular generation of PlayStation 5, or if they're going to be coming for the PlayStation 5 Pro whenever that comes out in the future. So, I don't know. I just think that ultimately right now, PS5 Pro.
This is the Pro. The Pro is you getting an NVMe to upgrade it. You know
they're going to get a Pro version in the next like 5 years or so.
What is it going to have like a 1 terabyte in it this time?
It's a 1 terabyte in it right now. It'll have to be like maybe 2 or 3. It's definitely yeah.
I could have sworn it was less than that.
No. It's 1 terabyte, but then you have the OS that's in there and everything like that.
It's the OS one, so it's 800. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, like what are they gonna put like a 2 terabyte in there? You know, like when they've got like 4s out right now, and I think they're working on 8, aren't they? 9-ball.
For what?
SSDs, an ATB.
I don't know.
I could have sworn I was hearing something about it, but it could have just been a whisper rumor.
I've been looking at NVMe's. I know we go up to, well, not NVMe's, but SSDs right now, because I got an NVMe in mine, and I know they go up to like 4 gigs now in NVMe SSDs at least.
Mm-hmm. But I know that eventually they'll be.
I know SSDs are up to 4 terabytes. I could have heard rumors that are going up. I mean, like I said, it was. I thought I heard something about an 8, but it could have been just like a rumor that they're working on it. I haven't heard.
Maybe.
I know NVMe's are like what 500 to a terabyte right now.
Expensive.
Well, no, I'm talking about like in terms of capacity.
Capacity.
Yeah, I know they're expensive. I mean, capacity wise, though, I think they're anywhere from like what.
I'm looking at a 2 terabyte right now.
Up to 2, okay.
Yeah,
but they're still expensive as heck. So we still recommend holding off on those guys.
But even so, like I mean, eventually they're gonna come out with they've been doing this ever since PS3. That there's been a PS3 Pro, then there's a PS4 Pro. Now there's going to eventually be a PS5 Pro, especially.
I don't think they really need a PS5 Pro though.
I didn't think that they need a PS4 Pro in my opinion. Like I think it was fine, but. Well, that's what they're doing. They're pushing
the
it.
4 needed one because the 4 and the Xbox, the original Xbox, was so far behind. I mean, everybody was kind of surprised when they played it that safe at launch. It couldn't even hold or sustain a 1080-60.
Yeah,
which is virtually the standard, like at least 1080-60. These have no problems. They really don't need to really go up to a another Pro. I would say. Like I said, the external hard drive for more space is what they need, in which you can purchase that now and put that in. I think that was basically all they really need.
Well,
true, but at the same time,
the
like
NVMe upgrades definitely for more capacity and more capabilities with NVMe's. External hard drive would be nice. I don't know if there's a way of replacing your own internal hard drive. They've made it to where it was easier. I'd have to watch that movie.
That would just leave it.
Yeah, I mean you can, but they
made
it.
If you remember the
easier.
4,
yeah.
the 4 allows you to do that.
Yeah, and they
allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking if they allow it for the 5, you don't need to do a Pro in that case because you got enough capabilities to upgrade your memory, which is the biggest thing you need right now. Because to even do an upgrade of a CPU and GPU to make it better than what you've got currently, it's going to be more costly right now, especially because it's so harder to get those chipsets and the components for the GPUs and all to be able to make something that's better than what is currently already on the 5. So it doesn't make sense right now cost-wise, even going forward in the future, to try and like fully upgrade it. Like that's why I think they really need to focus on getting that PlayStation PC like Game Pass reaction out, because unless they are going to truly keep making consoles, they're going to need to have something to work on computers, because computers are going to constantly keep evolving much faster. So, but in
They
terms of the PlayStation 5 now, it really all it needs is memory. It's got good heat, it's got good CPU, it's got good, GPU and all. So you really can't do much more better than what it's got currently.
what the
I don't
thing
know what.
about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't know what else they could throw in there to try and make it better than what it is right now, that they would be able to get their hands on, that would be as cost effective as it has been.
The only thing I think that's big about it, I don't think they need to release it, because one of the big selling points of, per se, a console is its convenience. Consoles are always known for their convenience. It's something that, as a PC, you got to build it. Unless you buy your PC, which is going to be more expensive because you're paying for all that. But even if you build it yourself, you got to spend the time to build it. A console, you just basically take it, sit it down, you plug it up, which is incredibly easy now compared to when I was a kid. Nintendo with the coaxial and all that. You had to take the screwdriver, screw them in.
Yep.
But it's incredibly easy. Just
the old AV cords and the RGB cords and all that stuff.
Yep.
Which one was it? Red, yellow, or yellow, red? Like, which ones?
One of them had green in there.
Oh,
when they threw in the green and blue, then you were like, really like, what the fuck is this? Oh, that's high definition. Like, which one? What? You got 5 plugs now.
Yeah, nowadays, HDMI cable.
DP,
plug it up.
Please.
Plug it up to the thing, and it pretty much does the rest.
Yep.
And that's the biggest selling point. You don't want to keep doing it, and then you just paid $500 for this one. 2 years later, here goes another one at $600. I don't feel like they need to do that. It's fine right now, and it's running great. The only thing they really need is memory, and you just take some NVMe's, and hopefully, I've never tried it. I'm not really trying it right now, but hopefully it's incredibly easy. From what I'm hearing, it is. You just open it up, you can just stick your new NVMe in there, and just ready to rock and roll.
It's the same way we install it on our motherboards, 9-ball. 9-ball and I have motherboards on our PCs that use NVMe's. Pretty much all it is you just pop off. They actually don't have a heat restrictor cap on there, which is why they recommend NVMe's with heat sinks, or getting a heat sink system for an NVMe if it doesn't have one, because you could fry those things. So you pretty much just pop it off, unscrew 2 screws, slide it to the chipset, lock it in, screw them down, tighten them up, and then just recap it, and then you just close it up. So it's that easy to install. Literally. It's literally it's almost like, think of it like a USB, just that you have to screw in,
Yeah, it's incredibly
That's
easy.
That's all it is. But we still recommend holding off on it, like I said, because the NVMe's that are being said you can do, it's not really worth it right now. You're probably going to come out with more stuff later on here, next year or the year after, in the quarters, for better NVMe's, because that's the way that they're kind of going with the boards now. So you'll probably get more better options. And like 9-ball said, and I stated it, that all they need is memory. Its system's running fine. So if they do something new, I will be very surprised.
Yeah, I honestly feel like that they are just gonna find even what you guys are saying. I mean, I get where you guys are saying that it makes sense, but I still feel like they're gonna find some sort of method to come out with a PlayStation 5 Pro in the next 5 years. Like, I really do think that they're gonna come out with something like that, and I'm not sure what that will be. I'm not sure what that will look like. But I just kind of feel like ever since they came out with the Pro versions of their consoles, I think that they're just gonna try put in more features to that's just going to make it be more appealing to the common consumer. Not exactly sure what that is. I'm not sure if that's going to be more memory, more storage, or whatever. I just feel like that's something that's kind of in the works and in their game plan moving forward.
The only thing I can see possibly them doing is a slim.
Yeah, and I think that will be another part of it. I think they will condense and make it even smaller.
That would be the only thing I could think of as something that's not as big as the 5, but then like that's gonna be very tricky because you're gonna lose a lot of the heat sink capability.
Yeah, and they put a lot of emphasis on heat. That's the reason why they're so big now.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I could see them doing.
The
is if
core
they got
thing
their
though that you guys
hands-
just said is now. We don't know what that's gonna look like in 5 years.
I mean, they could get something with a cooling processor in there, possibly, but I don't.
Would be water cooling, but I wouldn't give kids water cooling.
Well, that's why they tell you not to open it up. But then, of course, kids nowadays, I can do it myself. What's this? That, like I said, that would be the only thing. It's the water cooling systems on the CPUs because those have a really good cool rates. But the 9-ball, I'm also very skeptical on giving that just to a normal person. And those things are expensive too. And trying to put one in a slimmer system, I don't see it working because I don't know of one that is slim for a coolant system.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our episode 74 of ALWT Things Gaming. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. If you guys are listening via Spotify or Anchor, this is your episode 60. This, as a reminder, this Thursday, no Smite Night. It is Turkey Night. So, not streaming wise, but go ahead and think about things that you guys are thankful for. Of course, spend time with your family, give them a big hug and kiss, and get some mac and cheese for me on the side. Yeah. If you guys are curious and checking us out, more of our content and all that good stuff, make sure you guys are going to social media platforms such as YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Type in ALWT Gaming. We also have a website, www.alwtgaming.com. Type in ALWT Gaming. Yeah. Just do ahead and www.alwtgaming.com. That is our central hub for all of our social media platforms. And then, of course, you guys can go ahead to, if you guys go to Rep Sports, reppsports.com, you guys can actually get 15% off your workout powders, your Raise energy drinks, all that good stuff if you type in ALWT Gaming at checkout. Last little tidbit, but before we actually dip on out of here, I've been checking my phone every so often. I noticed that Ohio had started, I also started, which I did not know that you were already aware of, Misfit of a Demon King Academy. We just recently started watching that, and it's pretty good so far.
Dude, I love that. They actually have a second season come out, but I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
I finished that whole series. That season I loved it. I laughed.
Yeah, any argument that we had about Goku and versus Saitama is instantly crushed with this new protagonist. Man.
Dude, this guy is just
it's insane. We're gonna have to have like a special all-day anime discussion about that because so far I think I'm on episode 4, and literally a little, not really a spoiler, but a little bit of a spoiler here. Right here, Ohio says. LMAO, I'm 8 minutes in the first episode. This dude is crazy. LMAO, this baby named himself. Get the heck out. Yeah, literally, it is on a whole other level. And I know exactly what he's talking about. I'm past that point. And yeah, this protagonist puts Saitama to shame, puts Goku to shame. He's up there with Gojo and stuff. It's ridiculous.
It's so well written too.
Yeah.
It's like it's written to the point where you're just like, I don't care, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's one of the quotes where he's just like, "Oh, you thought death was going to stop me? Like, really? Come on, dude."
Yeah, he's like,
yeah,
and he wasn't even like serious. He's just kind of like looking at you, go like, "Did you really think that?"
Yeah. but just a little tidbit out there. So if you guys have yet to check it out, Misfits of the Demon King Academy, recommended by Mildewy Carrot. It's a good one, and like I said, I inadvertently didn't even know that Mildewy Carrot was even like on it like that. But I inadvertently started watching it because no, that's good. That's good. You're the original. I want to give you credit. I was about to say I inadvertently was watching it because I saw a post of all these animes that's coming out in 2022 that's getting like a season 2, and that was one that popped up, and I was like, well, let me go and give it a watch. Started watching it a couple of days ago, absolutely love it, and that's probably what I'm going to do after I get off this stream right now. But anyway, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our ALWT Things Gaming. We're here back 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday, and we're going to give you guys some more gaming news, video updates, all of that good stuff. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Until next time, Control Alt
Complete.
Peace.
No hair grease?
No, not today.